What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today, I've got another never used match. This one is against Alex. I'm using the same team as I was in the previous video. But anyway, looking at the matchup here, the first thing I notice is that this man is running a Ditto, so that should be pretty interesting. Some other stuff I am afraid of would be potentially the Golbat with Defog. It can kind of mess up my plans with my hazards. Then he's got some stuff like the Alolan Dog Trio, and Miss Magius could be pretty problematic. But anyway, let's go ahead and just get into this battle here. Alright, so I'm going to be leading off with my Dredagon. It seems like my best option here, and I want to get some Stealth Rock up, so I throw out some Legos, as hopefully he doesn't want to step on those. So he's going to lead off with me, which is kind of funny. He brings out the old Ditto. He's going to get some imposter action going, so it's like looking in a damn mirror here. And I figured he probably doesn't want to stay in here unless he wants to just take my Stealth Rock. But I'm actually just going to go ahead and set up Stealth Rocks as he's going to switch into his Lantern. So I'm just going to set up Stealth Rock, which is going to be pretty helpful here. And I don't really want to take an Ice Beam. Dredagon is looking pretty useful against his team, so I want to conserve this thing for as long as possible. And I'm going to switch into my Paulina, which is Slowking. He does go for the Scalds rather than just going straight for the Ice Beam, so that kind of tells me he was expecting a switch there. But I do get burned, and as you'll see later on in this match, that actually really comes back to bite me in the ass, or burn me in the ass, I guess. But yeah, so I'm actually just going to go for a Future Sight. He's going to go for the Volt Switch. I know I could take that really nicely. Obviously, I'm especially defense invested with Assault Vest, so I can take that as he's going to switch into his Jelly Dong, which is the Cradilly. And him bringing this thing in, I figured he probably just wants to set up Stealth Rock of his own, so I go for the Future Sight. That's going to come in handy later. Going to probably hit the Cradilly if he decides to stay in there. So burn damage is going to bring me down to about half here, and I don't have anything that I can do to the Cradilly. Plus, I expect him to probably just want to set up Stealth Rock of his own. So I decide to switch into my big old trash bag, shiny trash bag. He's not an ordinary trash bag. He's shiny in blue. So he does set up Stealth Rock of his own, and at this point, I was really considering going for the spikes, trying to get up a couple layers of those will be really helpful, but then I figure he'll probably just bring in his Golbat at some point and just defog those away. So I'm going to go for a Toxic, trying to land it on the Cradilly. He's unfortunately just going to go into his Shemole, which is hilarious. I honestly laugh every time I see Alolan Dug Trio, but it does take the Future Sight attack, which is freaking awesome, brings it below half, which is really cool, and I do not want to take an Earthquake. That will pretty much destroy my trash bag, so I'm going to go ahead and switch right into Legos. I'm pretty defensive, and I know I can take that nicely and potentially kill this thing with a Fire Punch in return. So he does end up going for the Earthquake there. I live it relatively nicely. I know I can take at least one more of those, and I should be able to take this thing out here. So he goes for another Earthquake, just trying to get as much damage as possible before he potentially goes down. So he does knock me down to like 12 HP. And after the Life Orb damage, obviously a Fire Punch will kill the Alolan Dug Trio, so that thing's out of the way. Go ahead and don't have to worry about this thing's weird-ass hair coming out again, which is cool. I actually get tangled in its hair, and it lowers my speed, which doesn't really matter, but it's just honestly kind of a funny ability. Tangled hair, but yeah, so now he goes right back into the Lantern. At this point, Dredagon doesn't look like it's going to be all that useful for me for the rest of this match, so I just decided to stay in, and it actually kind of worked out for me in scouting this thing's moveset, because it does show me that he is running Ice Beam, which is going to take care of my Dredagon, and no more Legos, which is sad. But yeah, this does allow me to bring in whatever I feel like, so I decided to just switch right into my Sneasel. Comes out and says, "Bless you," because you sneezing all up in this bitch. And I'm going to go for a knockoff. I know that it wouldn't end up taking this thing out, but I also knew that he won't be able to finish me off with a Scald, and I kind of just had to cross my fingers there for no Scald burn, which actually works out because I don't get burned. And then one more knockoff is going to take care of the Lantern, which is pretty awesome because now I don't have to worry about that thing as a defensive pivot. So he's now going to go right back into the Ditto here. He's going to go ahead and obviously just imposter me, even takes my shininess, as we got a nice little pink Sneasel off here going. So he actually does outspeed me, obviously, because most Dittos do carry Choice Scarf, so he is going to be faster, and an Icicle Crash is actually going to take me out, which is, it's sad. I just went and killed myself, so that's kind of how my day is going. But with the free switch in, I decided to go into my Garbodor just because I know that I can take any attack from this thing and then be able to finish it off with a Gunk Shot. So he's actually just going to go ahead and throw some more Icicles at me. I am able to live that relatively nicely, actually very nicely, because I'm defensive as shit, but I missed my freaking Gunk Shot, which is terrible news because I really wanted to get that Ditto out of there. If used correctly, Ditto can actually be a damn threat, as you'll see. But anyway, he's gonna now switch right into the damn Golbat and actually miss another Gunk Shot, which is like, what the fuck? Get glad. I'm honestly, I'm not too glad right now because that would have been really nice to take care of the Ditto. Honestly, would have even been nice just to get a little tiny bit of damage on the Golbat, but that kind of sucks. As I'm just gonna switch into Slowking as he's gonna go for the Defog. Goes ahead and flaps them flappy ass wings for a little while and gets rid of all the shit on the field. as the burn is kind of taking its toll on me. I don't have any recovery other than regenerator, so that's kind of unfortunate. As here, I'm going to go for a future sight. I knew that he was probably going to want to bring back in the Cradilly, expecting this thing to be Storm Drain. I kind of have to be careful with my Scalds. So like I said before, the only coverage moves I have on this thing is Scald and Fire Blast, so I can't do much against the Cradilly here, as I'm going to take this opportunity to switch into my Virizion Wireless, as he's going to go right back for the Stealth Rock. So he defogged mine away and then got his right back up, which does kind of suck, although that allowed me a free switch into Virizion here. So I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this matchup and go for a Calm Mind. I know that he's probably just going to want to go for a Toxic against me, so I kind of get a free stat boost there, and then I know that I can Focus Blast this thing. So he actually ends up missing his Toxic, which just kind of evens out the miss action going on here, as the Future Sight takes its attack, and at this point I know that a Focus Blast will definitely take care of the Cradilly. So I do actually connect on it, I don't miss, which is fantastic, and a Focus Blast will take care of the Cradilly. So down goes that thing, and I'm slowly getting rid of the walls, which is really useful, and I don't have to worry about Cradilly anymore, which is cool. So now he's going to bring in the Golbat. I do have Hidden Power Ice for situations like this, although hindsight is 2020, and I really should have set up another Calm Mind there as I had that Cradilly out, seeing as Hidden Power Ice is not going to be able to take care of the Golbat, and he actually has Brave Bird, which I wasn't expecting, and that's going to take care of my Virizion. Any other attack I believe I probably would have lived other than Brave Bird. But the good news is this thing is going to knock itself out due to recoil, and that's really nice because now I don't have to worry about Golbat, so that's cool. But on the empty battlefield here, I decided to switch into my Garbodor, as he's going to go into his Missy Mage. So his mustard-ass hat thing comes out, and I know that I could probably live a Shadow Ball at this health, so I'm just going to go straight for a Gunk Shot, as my worst fear was him having Substitute in the case that I missed. But I do actually connect on a Gunk Shot, which is freaking awesome. Anybody remember when going for Gunk Shot, the move animation was like throwing a trash can? I remember, but that shit was awesome. But anyway, I do get rid of the Substitute there, as he's actually just going to go right for a Shadow Ball. And check this out, Garbodor is not going to go down that easy, as the Gunk Shots will connect here. It's obviously not going to do a whole lot of damage, but any chip damage I can get on this thing to make it easier to take care of later is nice. So he's just going to finish me off with another Shadow Ball there. So Garbodor goes down. Later, buddy, take that right to the dumb face. As, yeah, so that's a dead pile of trash there. As I'm now able to bring in Paulina, I know that I can take a Shadow Ball from this thing, and then I should be able to finish it off with like a Scald. So he goes for a Substitute here. The reason being is that he wants to stall out another turn of burn damage. I was expecting this thing to probably be the same Miss Maggie that I'm running. Besides the Substitute, I was expecting it to probably have the Ghost DMZ, so that's kind of what he's going to go for here. After I take some burn damage, it's looking like I might be able to live it here since I'm Assault Vest and especially Defense invested. So he busts out the Ghost DMZ, going to bring out the all never-ending Nightmare, and now it's just a matter of hoping that I can live this. So he busts out the underworld bullshit, as Slowking's just sitting there all oblivious, still smiling, enjoying this shit, as I get freaking caught up in those weird-ass arms. I live it, though, with 4 HP, which is amazing. That allows me to fire off some hot water, and that is going to be a dead Miss Maggie. So that is amazing, although I am burned, so check it out. I'm going to go down to my burn damage, which is really shitty because his last Pokemon is the Ditto. So all I can really do here is go into my last Pokemon, which is Miss Maggie. He goes into his little floppy pile of little Play-Doh there. So he is obviously going to get the Imposter activated, going to go ahead and turn into a Miss Magius of his own. And at this point, he is Choice Scarfed, so he will be able to outspeed me. Now it's just a matter of trying to live a Shadow Ball. So he goes for it, and I'm like, there's no way this thing's going to kill. But Ditto is not playing games, and that's able to take care of my Miss Maggie, and that is going to be the end of the match. So, like I was saying earlier, that burn damage on Slowking really kind of fucked me up, because had I not been burned there on that last matchup, he would have had to bring in Ditto against Slowking, which would have then impostered him into Slowking, which is what I was kind of banking on, and then I would have been able to just bring in my Miss Magius and then finish off the impostered Slowking with a Shadow Ball. But that was a really interesting match. You don't see competitive Ditto very often, so I thought that was a fun one to upload. Had a great time. Honestly, that was a really fun match. But yeah, go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe for some more Wi-Fi battles. Peace out.